Welcome wherever you are watching in the world, and a very good morning to all of our Malaysian viewers to the Sepang International Circuit. This is the official live stream from SIC. My name is Jeevan Salvanathan. Sitting next to me is Ross Yusof, as he will be throughout the whole day today. Today is a very special day up at Sepang International because it is the official start of race one, round one of the Malaysia Superbike Championship 2018. Now, we watched qualifying yesterday, Ross. It was very, very interesting indeed.
Indeed. Conditions could not be more different today.
Yes.
It was raining overnight. It was raining this morning on our way to Sepang here.
Thunderous
rain.
And
yeah, the track is wet. The full track is being used as it was yesterday during qualifying. So that's a full circuit length of 5.542 kilometers, 15 corners. And we saw some of those bikes absolutely raring around that track
They
yesterday.
were tearing it up yesterday, tearing it up. Now, of course, you can watch qualifying on the official Facebook page of the Sepang Circuit. And what we have for you today is a morning session and an afternoon session, and that will be taking care of the race one in the morning and race two in the afternoon for the four classes that make up this year's championship, which is the Super 250, Super Sport, Superbike, and Super Stock. And in that order, those races will be happening. I can tell you now that Super 250 will be 8 laps, Super Sport will be 12, Superbike will be 12, and Super Stock will be 12 as well. And then that rotor will be repeated in the afternoon.
Now we're looking at the SIC Racing Development Team. They've got a few riders out there. That's one in your picture right now.
The ZK Racing Team.
Absolutely. Daniel Fahim. A lot of them put in good shows yesterday.
Yes, definitely. This SIC Talent Development Program has been bringing to light through digital technology and, of course, live stream tech as well for the first time ever this year, or in the history of the Malaysia Superbike Championship. We got to actually watch qualifying yesterday, so great exposure for these young riders and drivers that come under the SIC Talent Development Program banner. And names, some great names: Adam Norodin in Moto3, Hafiz Sharin, of course, is racing in MotoGP this year. Khairul Idham is another rider, but there's, yes, he said Daniel Fahim as well, and they all had a very good outing in the half-hour session they had for qualifying yesterday, which was yesterday afternoon.
We were looking at Zafar Zamani. That's Yaptek Chow, who had a very good qualifying session yesterday.
Now, it is, as you said, completely different conditions this morning, Ross, and...
Well, it was hitting 50 degrees yesterday.
It was track temperature, was 55.3 degrees at one point, around about 2:33 o'clock. We're getting updated as to what the current track temperature is now, but as Ross said at the top of the program, it was all-night rain pretty much all over the south of Malaysia yesterday, last night, and really thunderous stuff as well. So it is still unknown. Of course, the track inspectors were out at 8 a.m. this morning, it was about an hour ago, just to check the moisture on the track. They think it's okay, as you can tell, with all these riders suiting up now. So we are going to get underway, and we're hoping that that's all the rain taken care of for the day. But you can never tell. It was one of the biggest storms, has to be said.
But still, the race will go on, or the races will go on. As Jeevan mentioned, 2 meetings, a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting. That alone will see 2 different sets of conditions, really, on track, regardless of rain.
You can just see the front of the wheel here, right at the bottom of the wheel, the pickup of the water and the moisture coming off that. There is a fair bit of moisture on there. The reason I'm pulling back my description of it is because I've seen more rain this year, so it's not that bad. But there, just on the back wheel, you can see it again, the kind of conditions they're dealing with. Definitely wet weather tires. Obviously, you'd be really daring if you tried to do this on slicks. And you can see a bit of haze in the air as well. Open 250, a Super 250 class will be the first class out, and that was dominated by Surya Narayana from AZ Motor Performance Racing in practice. One of 3 riders on a Honda CBR 250R. The other 2 are Khairul Anwar Jamil, who placed 6th, and Angelo Neo, who placed 15th.
Yeah, watch out for them. They had very good qualifying sessions.
2:34.347 was the lap in the end that pulled it all together.
That's Hafiz Che Hussein, who will start 25th on the grid.
That's right. So these, as I said, are going to represent the first points of the championship, each of the classes. 50 points up for grabs today. 25 for first, 20 for second, 16 for third, and 13 for fourth. And it keeps going down pretty much to about 15th position. But that's where you want to be in the top 3. So you can get 25 points from race 1 and 25 points from race 2 in the afternoon, and then set your championship really underway with just 5 rounds happening throughout the year for the championship. It's imperative that you do get as many points as you can, or just make sure you get a point scoring finish from each of the races, because consistency is, in the end, what really helped the likes of Jonathan Sarapika and Mohammed Ayman Tairuddin, especially last year. And of course, the overall champion, Farid Badrul Hisham, the HKM Times bike racing team. And it's now actually it's got a bit of a makeover, as they have joined up with the TOC Automotive College in Malaysia, one of the primary, if not only, in fact, automotive college. They've got in on the Malaysia Superbike Championship by joining and forming a team that also did very well in practice yesterday.
Yeah, they did very, very well. They must be very proud.
Well, it looks like the grid is forming up.
It is all about today, though. It's all about getting those points on the board. As Jeev mentioned, 25 points for winning. So with 2 meetings, your morning and your afternoon meets, your top riders can be looking at a 50-point haul.
50-point haul would be fantastic. The double header, which it used to be, of course, last year and in previous years. The Superbike Championship has actually been on for a number of years. It used to be the Malaysian Super Series. But in that time, it used to be race 1 on Saturday and race 2 on Sunday. That format has been changed, so now 2 different conditions as we watch the medical car make its way around the track. All the officials up bright and early with us this morning. And thanks for joining us.
I wonder if there's a Teh Tarik car.
I think there probably is. I think that there probably is. Very well-stocked circuit, the Sepang International Circuit.
It's a gorgeous circuit. It's a world-class circuit.
It's world-class. Designed by Herman Tilke, in fact, in 1999, I can tell you that. Well, that's when it was open, but designed by him, and he's, of course, gone on to design some of the most amazing circuits around the world as well. But really, this was the first one. Purpose-built, state-of-the-art. Riders and drivers alike both love the signature straights, 927 meters. And we've got some pit lane starters here. Remember, all these riders will be going out on a sighting lap, the equivalent of a formation lap.
In that bunch is Alif Ashraf. You've also got Harith Hazik in there. They all did very well.
Yeah, that's also I can see in there Afik Daniel Bogas as well.
Yeah.
And he had a little bit of a problem in qualifying.
New colors, new leathers for a lot of these riders.
Now, much cooler temperatures in the morning, as we said, so it is going to be different from qualifying. But then, as you said, this is race day now, so it's not really about going around as fast as possible. It's about looking in your rearview mirrors, principally, because now you're going to have a lot of defending to do as well. But on top of that, it's also making sure that you do actually make it round. There are 5 rounds, so it's good to get, as Ross said, to put 50 points in the bag in this opening weekend. The next weekend is going to be a couple of months down the road, 27th to the 29th of July. Mark that down in your calendars. That's round 2. 14th to 16th of September is round 3, and then a double-header round 4 and round 5 will be played out on Saturday and Sunday, the 5th and 6th, or 5th and 7th, or 6th and 7th, I should say, of October. Now, of course, with a double header happening in that final round, that means there's 100 points up for grabs in that final round. Everything could change.
That final weekend, Jeevan and I will be here over the 2 days, and it will be superb racing.
Fantastic and stuff.
That's the Uptech Cow in your picture. Fastest time yesterday of 2:36.387. Very good outing, but of course, it's very different under race conditions. As Jeevan mentioned, you're looking in your rearview mirror.
You're trying to pick the right racing line.
You're trying to find the right line.
Back markers. It's a whole different kettle of fish, really. I mean, in terms of micro-analysis, that's it for the riders themselves. But it's also, you don't want to let your team down. You've had a lot of preparation. You can see them all eagerly waiting to get underway. And one bike per rider is allowed per weekend. So this is the same bike that they would have used in qualifying. They would have been tweaking up the setups of yesterday just to make sure. All very familiar with the track, of course, as all the rounds of the Malaysian Superbike Championship are raced out on this SIC track. Sometimes it's half the track, North Circuit or the South Circuit, in which case the laps are doubled up. But it all equates out in the end to the same distance. There are trophies and prizes, of course, as you'd expect at the end of the season, but really this championship has identified itself as a bigger place to practice your riding style, notch up some good results. That is the defending champion, Ayman Tyrudin.
Starting in 8th
Had
on the grid.
Great season last year, finished with 157 points in the 250A class. Luke Harith Erwan came in second, and Surya Narayana, who's actually our pole sitter, in 4th. But Ayman was forced to be reckoned with last year. Racked up a double win in round 3 and won a race win in round 1 as well, and then just ended out the season actually with a good run of 3rd. So that's what we're talking about, consistency. You don't necessarily have to win. His points tally in the end to win the championship was 8 points in race 1 of round 1, 25 in race 2, nothing after a DNF in round 2 race 1, then a 20, 25, 25. That was a good run from him in the middle of the season, round 2 and round 3, and then just a string of 3rd places all the way to the end, and that was enough for him to win by 30 odd points, 31 points. So it looks like our grid has been split from the pit lane to the grid as well. It certainly doesn't look like 31 riders. So will be joined from the pit lane. Any number of reasons as to why they could be starting from the pit lane. A lot has happened since qualifying. Yes, we got to see qualifying for the first time ever yesterday, but you never get to see, there they are up at the top corner of your screen, there you never get to see what goes on in race control. Race control, of course, runs this race, and I can tell you now that the big story from yesterday's qualifying, which was Aslan Shah coming out for what we thought was 7 laps and putting in a 2:09.43, well, one of those laps was actually cut off, so he's now been credited with 6 laps and a 2:10, which is still fast enough to get him pole in Superbike, but we'll be getting the Superbike later on. Right now, they're out on their sighting lap. This is going to be the official start of the Malaysia Superbike Championship.
And it is the Super 250 category. Look out for
Start nice and easy. Yeah. Start nice and easy on these bikes.
The flying Indonesian yesterday, Surya Narayana, doing so well.
Well, as I said, on one of 3 Honda CBR 250s. Most of this field is made up of the Kawasaki SL 250. There are a couple of Yamaha R25s in there as well. Khairul Izzad is on Yamaha. Eddie Ermine is on a Yamaha as well. Hafiz Hussein and Fariz Zafri as well, also on Yamahas. Rest of the pack is pretty much Kawasaki 250, but for these 3 Honda CBRs, and one of them was a full 2 seconds faster than the rest of the pack yesterday, and that was the AZ Motor Performance Racing Team and Surya Narayana.
That's right. Can he replicate that under race conditions? Well,
that's the great thing about starting from pole, because if he does get a good run into turn 1 and through turns 2 and 3, then you can, by having just a clear track ahead of you, get at least a bit of a gap, which of course, as we know, he can build on. So really it's going to be that dive into turn 1 that's going to be really important. It looks like another member of the ZK Racing team there, actually. Sure, we'll see all of their riders turning up. 3 of them in the field today. Daniel Ahmad Sharil, much talked about. Daniel Fahim and Harith Hazik. Homegrown talent in a homegrown team. And as they come through what looks like Sector 3, there are actually 4 sectors of the 15 corners of the Sepang International Circuit is divided into. Here is the starting grid. Surya Narayana with his 2:34.204 was the qualifying time in the end. Amirul Afik in second, and Zafir Zakasha Zamani with a good time in third.
On row 2, then Yaptek Chow, Vishwadev, and Luth Harith B01.
Daniel Ahmad Sharil, Mohammed Ayman Tairuddin, and Mohammed Alif Ashraf make up the third row.
Row 4, Jailani Kosman, Daniel El Fahim, Khairul Anwar Jamil.
Fifth row, Litat Mak, Angelo Neo in 14th, and Yaptek Ho in 15th.
On the 6th row, Harith Hazik, Siti Norafiza, Alan Harris Herman.
And row number 7, Eddie Erman in 19th, Lisi Torn in 20th, and Shamsia Hamimi in 21st.
8th row, Muhammad Fauzi Hassan, 22, Muhammad Zulfadli Ishak, 23, Afik Daniel Bogus, 24.
And Hafiz Hussein, Efzan Aslan, and Karol Izzad, 25th, 26th, and 27th.
28th is Faisal Mustaqim, Ahmad Faris Zafri is 29, and Amir Ahmad.
And finally, there is Karol Naim Kasim, who had a bit of a nightmare in qualifying yesterday.
Red flag's out.
And that means that green flag will be circling at the back very soon. And after all the work and all the preparation, now's the time for the crews to sit back and let the riders do it. The bikes are back in town. This is the National Bike Racing Championship for Malaysia, and when that red flag goes down and that green flag comes out, that is going to be the official start of the 2018 season. It's great to hear those engines growling. We're just literally on the left of your screen.
They're right in front of us, so it literally is a growl. And the growls
it's a
get
nice
bigger.
Growl. Yeah, the growls get bigger throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
250, we're going up to 600cc and 1000cc bikes as well. Red lights, and it's off and green for the Malaysia Superbike Championship 2018. Bit of a shuffle at the start. And looks like Surya is taking a nice line. I told you it's going to be this dive into turn 1 that's going to make all the difference. All nice and easy. Has been a wet night, and it's better to do this now. Streaming through turns 1 and turn 2. Everyone looks away nicely. A little bit wide for a couple. That just comes from having a pack of 31 bikes. Not everyone can be on that racing line.
First 2 bends safely negotiated by all the riders.
And this is where you can open up the throttle a bit into turns 3 and 4. That's a beautiful shot for turns 3 and 4, coming up to 5 now. This is all sector 1, which has just been completed.
Surya Narayana out front.
Well, that's a big wobble. And it looks like it actually shook him up as well, because he lost a couple of grounds. Looks like he's going to lose a couple more. Just locked up. His line once again, having to look in the mirrors, not being able to concentrate on the apex. So we're just going to wait for them to come around the front, but it looks like Zafir Zakasha had a really good start, Vishwadev as well. Based on what we can see, Surya Narayana is currently in 19th, so it was a very bad start from him. But again, we're going to have to make absolutely sure once they come around for their first lap.
Daniel Ahmad Sharil did quite well. He's riding a very fast sector 2 as we look at Grandstand S.
And that's a very interesting shot to see them come across there. I was wondering for a second, where did these bikes go? But all sorts of cameras everywhere. As you can see, positions are changing as they get into sector 3. And look at you can just see the moisture being kicked up as well. They're going to have to be very careful in these opening laps.
Now, as the day goes on, you'll find the track starting to dry out, but there will be wet spots.
If it stays,
that's
of course,
true.
If the skies stay clear. But we can't actually estimate as to how much moisture got rained on this track over the night. It was a massive thunderstorm.
Amirul Afik has put in a very fast sector 3. We'll have track positions for you as they go across to complete their first lap. But at the moment, Daniel Ahmad Sharil of the SIC Junior ZK Racing team is putting in a very fast opening lap.
Well, they should be coming around the corner now. This is it. This is going to be our first lap times of the day.
It is Ayman Tahrudin leading 3:08.219. You can see they're a lot slower under wet conditions.
Absolutely, you'd expect that from the tires, but definitely taking it easy.
Surya Narayana in second, Luth Harith B. Irwan in third, Daniel Ahmad Sharil in fourth, Zakasha Zamani in fifth, Amirul Afik in sixth. Visual Death is down in eighth. That's Ayman Tahrudin up front, closely followed by bike number 9.
Well, that was a great start from Ayman Tahrudin, I have to say, to come in ahead of Surya Narayana. He was 9th on the grid, but that is our defending champion that has found himself immediately up at the front.
And someone's come off here.
And has, by the looks of it, picked up a bit of an injury as well now.
That's bike 66.
That looks like, that's just a
Daniel
great
Ahmad
example.
Sharil.
That is well, that's actually one of the
He was
ZK
in
Racing
fourth
team
at the moment,
riders.
at the time.
So immediate work for the ZK Racing team. That looks like one of the young riders from the team has just spun out and clipped his shoulder as well. So does look like he's in a lot of pain.
Sorry, that's Harith Hazik.
That is Harith Hazik, and now these are the SIC officials that are taking care of him, but of course he's going to get back to the ZK Racing team. They're going to analyze exactly what happened there, and obviously have a look at that shoulder as well. But if you did think that a racing career was just getting on a bike and winning stuff, then that was the shot that will remind you that there's a lot of other stuff that you need to learn as well.
Yeah, especially on a morning like this.
A school of hard knocks. It's not the nicest Sepang International Circuit to be riding on early morning and wet as well. And I think in some ways that's more invaluable experience than actually winning. But all types of racing experiences are going to be given to those guys.
Surya Narayana has hit the front from Ayman Tahrudin. Coming around to complete their second lap. Surya Narayana first across the line, 2:59. Lap times understandably coming down, closely followed there by Luth Harith B. Irwan.
Well, we're getting into it now. I did say take it easy for the opening laps, but when you've only got a short race like this, now 6 laps left, you do have to start laying your strategy down. 8 laps is all. So now Daniel Ahmad Sharil, unfortunately, out of the race and not looking like he's going to come back, seeing as how he did obviously pick up a shoulder injury. Was running in third. Is that somebody else?
That's somebody else.
Yes, it is. I thought for a second that was a replay, but it looks like a lot of people are having trouble on some of these corners. A little bit too much moisture. Can't be pushing it. Right now, Surya Narayana is just set at 2:59.510, and that is a great estimator as to exactly how much time you can have if you're on slick or wets. Bike, of course, these wets aren't even helping. Right now, you can just see the difference in tread there. It didn't seem to do anything that time. The 250 bike, monster of a bike anyway, is being rolled off. So that was...
Yeah, that could be the end of Alan Harris Herman.
And he was running in 15th. So a lot of people changing their positions as we go around. But Surya Narayana has managed to regain the lead after a lightning start from Aiman Tairuddin.
Luth Harith Bierwan is trying to stay in there with Surya Narayana. Teammates, of course.
Just 0.7 of a second between them as well.
Yeah, both from the AZ Motor Performance Racing team.
Well, we've seen two bikes go off in two different parts of the circuit, so really you can't tell which of these corners.
You can see how wet the back of
yeah,
Surya Narayana's tyre is.
We can definitely see that it is noticeable moisture. Well, that's a great lap from Surya Narayana. He's just absolutely broken the sector times.
On course to beat his 2:59 on this, his third lap.
While in the dry conditions, he set the benchmark, and in wet conditions, he's doing exactly the same. 2:34 was his benchmark on slicks, and on the wets, it's 2:55 now, 8:30. That's the fastest lap that we've seen. Some 20-second differential between wet conditions and dry conditions. Absolutely astonishing.
There you go, Surya leading Luth Harith 2.118 seconds behind race leader at the moment. Amirul Afik in third, a further 5 seconds behind.
That is the top 8 as it stands. Khalif Ashraf in 9th, Fishrudef in 10th, Angelo Neo in 11th. And now Litat Mak some 28 seconds back from Surya Narayana. 5 laps left in this opening race for the morning session of round 1. Race 1 for the Super 250. Now, don't be deceived by this track. This is the uphill section. It looks a little bit drier.
The Malaysian MotoGP happens between the 2nd and 4th November. 95,000 people roughly turned up last year over the weekend. So get your tickets. They are selling very fast. sepangscircuit.com for all the details.
That's going to be huge, as it has been the last couple of years. In fact, last 3 or 4 years, MotoGP has been an absolute sellout up here.
And with Hafiz back in town.
Well, yes, Hafiz Sharin now established, not just riding in MotoGP, but actually causing some stir and some headlines. He's very fast indeed, though. And actually, he was one of the riders that made a guest stop in to the Malaysian Superbike Championship last year, when this official live stream was kicked into life.
And he really did show his class.
He did. He was absolutely at the front by far.
So this is our situation with 5 laps to go. Surya Narayana in your picture, leading. Fastest man on track, 2:55.830. It's a good 15-20 seconds off his fastest time yesterday, but
yeah, good chance.
different conditions.
Different conditions, and also pretty much all the riders, now that they've seen 2 of the riders gone on, well, retired, I suppose. Daniel Ahmad Charul was one of them, and we're hoping that that shoulder injury has been looked into now, because he did pick one up. But once they saw a couple of riders go off, then the rest of the pack seems to have settled into a nice rhythm. And you can still see there, just at the front and back wheels, the amount of moisture they're having to deal with. To us on the screen, it looks fine. To race control, of course, and the track inspectors, they thought it's fine. But let me tell you, to the riders, and that's Angelo Neo there, it's an entirely different situation, and one that can easily turn into an adverse situation.
2:55.830 was Surya Narayana's last lap.
Well, we were talking yesterday about, you know, how difficult it is to replicate your qualifying times in race. Well, there you go. Sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes it's just the rain that turns up, and that adds another 20 seconds. So it is very difficult to get down, and I bet right now that Surya Narayana was wishing that he could lap at 2:34.347.
Well, he has got a clear track in front of him. And that's the second place man in your picture right now. That's his teammate, Luth Arith Bierwan.
Oh, 1-2 right now for the AZ Motor Performance Racing team. They're going to love that.
It's a 4.7 second difference between first and second.
Well, that's a big wobble there, but recovered nicely. And as I said, you just have to watch yourself when getting around this track. That's Angelo Neo. Beautiful color for that bike. That's one of the other Honda CBRs, as I was saying. Beautiful color for a beautiful bike.
Yaptek Chow, number 12.
And look at that, best time of 3:08. Well, that wouldn't have cut any mustard during qualifying, that's for certain. A bit of a wave even from the pits. I think a lot of these teams are just hoping that their riders and bikes can get back and finish this lap, finish this race, I should say, get some points in the bag, and move on to the afternoon.
The guys in the pits must be most concerned about the wet weather out there.
While it was always going to be critical with this class, the Super 250 was going to open proceedings today. They were going to have to deal with these Super 250 riders were going to have to deal with the wettest conditions.
Yep.
Hopefully things should be drying up. One of the great things about Malaysia is that, well, it can dry up extremely quickly. The sun, as you can see, just breaking over the tops of the grandstands now. Give it about another half hour or so and it should start.
Yeah, Zafir Zamani, number 17, currently
in sixth.
3:01.805, Zafir's best time.
Well, Surya is still putting the pedal to the metal. Very fast sector 1, on par for sector 2 and sector 3.
So 3 laps to go. Surya Narayana leading from Luth Harith Irwan, Amirul Afiq in third, Ayman Tairudin in fourth.
And once again, this is race 1. Race 2 for 250s will be at 1:15 this afternoon. We're kicking off the afternoon session.
Now, that's a big gap now. 7.75 opened up by Surya Narayana over his teammate, Luth Harith Irwan.
Well, this is an interesting battle. This is Daniel Ahmed Sharil that looks like he's back on the bike. And Mohammed Ayman Tairudin on the 55 bike. It should be just 0.1 of a second.
That's the battle for third.
Well, it's good to see Daniel Ahmed Sharil back. Said had a little bit of a nightmare. And actually did spin out for a second and looked like he clipped his shoulder, but you can just see at the top of your screen there, TOC Automotive College, new. And he just found out he's on TV. It's amazing the reactions you get from people that suddenly find themselves on a big screen. Don't worry, we move back to the race now.
Angelo Neo in your picture, number 18. Followed by Lee Tatmak, 22. And Yaptek Chow, 12. Pretty close together, all three.
Yeah, there's just 1 second between second and fourth at the moment. All three of them lapping around 2:57, 2:58. And then after that, between 3:01 and 3:02 is another 4 riders. That takes us up to 10.
Luth Harith Irwan has taken the lead. He's made up 7 seconds.
How did he do that? That's
on
amazing.
Surya Narayana.
I hope there isn't a problem with Surya's bike, because that's a very, very short distance to be making 7 seconds up, it has to be said. But yes, he is currently credited as being in the lead. We're going to have to check that when they come off the back straight here, round turn 15. I didn't see Surya in that pack. Well, could this be a headline in the Super 250? We're currently waiting for Surya Narayana to come round.
That's the race
him.
leader.
Yep, that's him. Well, 2 laps remaining,
That's
and
Surya
it has
in third at the moment.
changed. Yes, he has dropped down to third.
Yeah,
And
Ahmad
from
Sharil
being
is second.
7 seconds ahead, he's now caught up in that battle between Ahmad Tyrudin and Daniel Ahmad Sharil.
But as we say that, Surya Narayana has taken back second position.
Well, it's great to have this battling quartet of bikes up at the front.
But we didn't actually see how Lutharit Irwan made up that 7 seconds.
There is a mystery,
Yeah.
7 seconds that was
Superb
made
riding.
up. And Surya Narayana, in fact, now being 2 seconds back, it means that Lutharit Irwan has been teleported to the future by 10 seconds in the space of 3 corners. So unless there was a bit of a wobble, it could have been a lock-up from Surya on, as we've seen already in this race.
That's your top 4 at the moment.
But look at this battle that has just now joined Ayman Tyrudin and Daniel Ahmad Sharil. Don't forget, Daniel had a bit of a knock earlier on as well.
Yeah, he looks to have recovered from that.
Absolutely.
And more. So just a couple of laps ago, it is Lutharit Irwan leading from his teammate Surya Narayana. Daniel Ahmad Sharil in third.
Now, you might think that 8 laps isn't that far to go, but I can tell you that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the initial 31 starters now have question marks next to them. One of them, of course, was Harith Hazik from the ZK Racing team with the shoulder injury. Faisal Mustaqim, Yabtek Hao is currently AWOL, Jelani Kosman, Amirul Afik. And it's got to be pretty much certain that they're not going to be picking up any points with 2 laps left to go. Here is the top 4 again.
That's the
a
gap
great
between Lutharit and his teammate Surya Narayana there. That is what a 2.57 second gap looks like.
Yep, Ayman Tyrudin, the defending champion, just sitting at the back of this pack, possibly looking to scoop up a late braking move, perhaps, on the last lap, push him up in the standings. But of course, each of these riders are going to be happy that they've kicked off the Malaysia Superbike Championship 2018 with points, and significant points as well. So as you can see, the bottom left of your screen, it is the last lap now. And that is number 39 down. That is Mohammed Fauzi Hassan. If I'm right, can't see him. We can see the bike again.
There he is.
Yeah, you can see the shake of the head as well. That's off turn 1. Now, with the track being this moist, don't know if be that much pickup, but it looks like that's a yellow flag. Yes, it is, as you'd expect on the last lap. So that's 3 bikes that we've seen at 3 different parts of the circuit that have spun out, and the rest of the pack are taking it very easy through turns 1 and 2. I can tell you, you just see at the bottom of your screen now, Lutharit is ahead again, but just 0.3 of a second ahead of his teammate. Real battle royale happening between the AZ Motor Performance Racing Team riders. There it is. Now it looks like Luth again up in front for a second. It was Surya. What a great start from this team.
Yeah.
Can they do it again this afternoon? One of these riders looks like they're going to pick up 25 points. The other one looks like he's going to pick up 20. Now look how close they are. Oh, sorry, that's actually Alif Ashraf and Daniel Al-Fahim from ZK Racing Team. Daniel learning a bit about defending right now. Defending the line.
And both those 2 riders are a good 6 seconds ahead of Vishwa there, who's in 8th.
Well, it looks like Surya Narayana does want to come through. He's just put in the fastest lap, 2:55.615. He's pushed. Remember, he's only 0.3 of a second behind Luke Harris, BL1.
I wonder if they're team orders.
Well, I said this year is going to be really interesting for both of them, having finished second and fourth in the championship last year. They're going to be looking to do better. For Luke Harris, that can only mean winning the championship, and of course for Surya, that can mean second or third as well.
Ayman Taruddin's put in a very fast 2:56 as well.
Now that was a very shaky exit from Luke Harris BL1, and it's really allowed Surya Narayana the gilt-edged chance that he's been looking for. A quick look over his shoulder, and he should be wary as well, because that should have really seen track position conceded, and it has
Surya has taken the lead.
He just lost too much speed around about turn 13. And he had to concede track position. So Surya Narayana gifted in the end
and
the win. It should be him. He cuts the line off nicely on the left. And I don't think there's going to be anything that Paris can be about that. He's really, really happy, both of them, for the team, as that is a 1-2 for the AZ Motor Performance Racing Team. Fantastic performance from them.
Ayman Taruddin in third, Daniel Sharil in fourth. Just waiting for Zakasha Zamani to come in, should be in fifth. Daniel Fahim in sixth. Great ride from Surya Narayana, leading at the start. Then he lost the lead to his teammate, Luth Harith Irwan, but to come back again in the final lap.
Absolutely. And Luth Harith, don't forget, did actually start from quite far back on the grid as well. So really good performance from him. And Daniel Fahim comes in 7th, Vishwadef in 8th, Angelo Neo in 9th. Which means Lee Tatmak should take 10th position. One race down.
25 points in the bag for Surya Narayana.
Officially the first points that have been scored in the MSBK 2018 Championship. There'll be a lot more points given out today, I can tell you. Checkered flag out for Super 250. There's a 2:55.500 in the end from Surya Narayana. Still some 20 seconds behind his qualifying time due to the wet conditions. And what a great start to come up from 14th on the grid from Ayman Taruddin, has to be said. Finish in the points. And also big shout out to the ZK Racing team, Daniel Ahmad Charul, some great experience there. How about that? Your first points at MSBK? That sounds good to me.
So that's our first race done. Great win for Surya Narayana. Great performance by the AZ Motor Performance Racing team. First and second.
Luth Harith BO1 actually was 28th, ranked 28th in terms of practice performance, and has finished up in second spot. That really is incredible ride from him. Safia Sakasha also was down that really because there wasn't a time that was put to them. But they've proved themselves on the day, at least half the day, with race 1 out of the way now for them. So Alif Ashraf in 6th as well.
Race 2 for the Super 250 then will be at 1:15 in the afternoon. So we're hoping that it'll be a
totally different track, and completely dry by the looks of it.
Up,
we can't tell from the screen whether it's still drizzling or not, but by the looks of it, it is drying up. Trust me, at this latitude around the world, all you need is the sun to peek its head around for about half an hour, and that track will be drying up nice and quickly. A lot of other tracks around the world don't have that.
No.
See, they don't. There's a lot of freezing tracks up in the northern hemisphere that actually obviously have to deal with ice and defrosting.
Even that shot on your screen now doesn't actually show how wet it is out.
Yeah, not at all, not at all. And this is the uphill part of the circuit as well, just coming out of sector 2. So looking at the results, there's Surya Narayana with 25 points, 23.58, 7.58 in the end. Luth Harith BO1 makes it a 1-2 for AZ Motor Performance Racing. Mohammed Ayman Tairuddin, defending champion, in third. Daniel Ahmed Shairul from the ZK Racing Team in fourth. Zafir Zamani, Mohammed Alif Ashraf, Daniel Al Fahim, Vishwadev, Angelo Neo, and Lee Tatmak take us to 10.
In 11th, Yaptek Chow, Cairo Anwar Jamil in 12th, Irfan Aslan, Eddie Erman, Afik Bogus, Siti Norafiza, Ahmed Zafri, Lee Siton, Khairul Izzat, and Amir Ahmad take us to 20.
And that means 21 to 30 looks like this. Shamsi Hamimi, Zulfadli Ishak in 22nd, Hafiz Hussein in 23rd, Fauzi Hassan, Amirul Afik, Jalani Kosman, Yaptek Hao, Alan Herman, Harith Hazik, of course, had that spin out. Faisal Mustaqim in 30th, which should lead us with one last person. No, it doesn't. In fact, that is the last one. There was a non-starter, which was Khairul Naim Qasim, and that is because of qualifying. So as the riders make their way into Parc Fermé, those bikes are going to get scrutineered and checked to make sure they're all up to regulations. They will be, but of course the scrutineering has to happen. We'll be back with the podium for this Super 250 opening race of the MSBK 2018 season in just a bit. Dude, where's the podium?
Bộ là tình mình phản năng nhỉ, mình cái bộ là bộ năng nhỉ.
Welcome back to the Sepang International Circuit, where we have just witnessed the Super 250 and a win in race 1 for Surya Narayana from his teammate Luth Harith Irwan. Ayman Tarudin coming in third.
That was a great performance from the AZ Motorsports team.
Coming up next then will be the Super Sport category. Our chance to see Kazma Daniel Kazmayuddin, Ian Robert Dublin, Ibrahim Noruddin, all those three in the top three. Ismail Smiley, of course.
Yes, this is a great class. It's going to be the second race of the 4 for the morning session. Each of these races will have, each of these classes will have race 2s happening in the afternoon. And once again, yeah, great performance from Surya Narayana and Luth Harith B. Irwan, lapping at 2:55,500 because of the wet conditions, but the AZ Motor Performance Racing Team with a 1-2 in the Super 250, and as you can see, the grid is being assembled for Super Sport. Now,
glad to report that the rain has stopped.
Absolutely, I actually went out and checked the skies just now. I'm not going to stick my neck out too far and say it isn't going to rain again, because it is definitely still overcast. The sun isn't in the sky at the moment, but yes, the track is drying up, so there should be better conditions for these riders. We saw some very fast times from the likes of Ian Robert Dublin, Ismail Smiley, Kazmayuddin, of course, the wildcard from Moto 3.
Now, Kazma,
previously,
Kazma yesterday actually only rode round for 7 laps to take the lead.
That's another Aslan Shah.
Yeah.
Went around.
Fastest time of 2:14.317. I believe it's going to be a lot slower under these, still quite a wet track.
Well, they
should
still be on wet tyres for certain, and we should see the changeover. If all goes well and the track does dry out, then the changeover possibly for the superbike class or the super stock class, which will be about 12:15. I reckon that should be when we should see the slicks go back on again.
Now, Liam Taylor McDonald, look out for him, bike number 37.
Not a rookie anymore.
No, last year he absolutely blitzed the rookies.
Yes, there was 237 points. I don't even have to look that up. That was 237 points. So highest scoring rider in all the classes from last season.
Well, he's stepped up in class this year then. He's in his Super Sport. He's nicely positioned in 7th.
Now, just in case you're wondering what you have to do to get 237 points, well, how about 9 straight wins out of 10 and a shared win from the other race? So essentially, he won the entire class by far. 237 points. That was a full, well, it was about 95 points ahead of Raja Zaba, who is not taking part this year. Charanjit Singh was also in there as well. Still a rookie this year.
Now that's Helmi Azman, 4th on the grid.
SCK Rapido Team 215. Yes, that's right. We had a good slew of riders that were on 215.
Yeah, just 0.994 seconds behind the pole position.
Yeah, just one rider made it into the 214 mark. Now, while these guys get ready, we're going to have a look at the podium ceremonies for the Super 250 class, which should be ready now. The riders should be off their bikes. Will be, as the man to watch, Ismail Smiley, when we get back to Super Sport. There is the podium. So, the trophies are going out. Here's the rookies class.
Ahmad Faris Safri in 5th. In 4th in the rookies class, Daniel Bogas.
Doesn't look too happy, Daniel, even though he did have a troublesome qualifying
Eddie Oman
period.
In 3rd.
The first trophies for the MSPK 2018. And that's Lee Tatmak, the top rookie from race 1.
So 25 points for Lee Tatmak.